All right, welcome back. Today we are jumping right into a paradox that I think is at the center of almost every professional's workflow now, AI language models.
Hmm.
We're doing a deep dive into some really powerful excerpts from an analysis called The Voice Trap: Authenticity in the Age of AI.
It's a great piece.
So for you listening, the mission is pretty simple. We want to help you grasp a really subtle risk.
A very subtle one.
You use AI as this, invisible colleague.
Yeah.
It drafts your emails, it structures your plans, and it gets really good at sounding like you.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
But the analysis warns that it's a cycle. You might then start sounding like it. So our goal is to figure out how to use these tools without letting your own voice get flattened to something generic.
And what's so fascinating here is the medium we're talking about. I mean, this isn't a calculator or a GPS map.
Yeah.
AI operates in the same space as our thoughts, our identity language itself. So when an entrepreneur, for example, asks a model to write like me, they're inviting it right into their core asset.
Their voice.
Their voice. For any personal brand, that unique voice is everything. It's the engine of trust that customers actually rely on.
That's a huge trade-off. Okay, so let's unpack how this erosion begins. The source doesn't really pull any punches here.
Not at all.
It points to the psychological pull of convenience. We are, an efficiency-seeking species. If AI makes it easier, we're going to rely on it.
And in doing that, we risk outsourcing not just the effort, but a piece of our identity. We stop wrestling with what we actually think, and we settle for what the machine can assemble.
So we're taking a plausible-sounding shortcut.
Exactly. And the source argues that wrestling with the idea is where authenticity is built. If we just rely on the AI's ability to produce something familiar from, huge pools of text, we just end up sounding bland and interchangeable.
But hang on, isn't the efficiency gain worth a little bit of, genericism? Are customers really that sensitive to the difference between good human writing and good AI writing?
I think they are, and it shows up as a lack of conviction. This gets to a really important question. When our communication is so heavily mediated by AI, how do we stop sounding emotionally hollow?
Emotionally hollow.
Yeah, an AI can imitate style perfectly, but it doesn't share your experiences, your worries about the future, your hopes for your kids.
Right, it hasn't lived anything.
And that missing emotional signature is what people are getting really good at sensing. Just think about the last truly memorable email you got. Was it memorable because it was structurally perfect?
No, probably not.
Or did it have a distinct, maybe even slightly messy human signature? That's the conviction we lose.
Okay, so the erosion is subtle, almost insidious. But how do we actually stop it? What are the defensive moves the analysis suggests we can make?
Well, the key is establishing hard boundaries. Boundaries where your values, your sense of self always come first.
So this isn't an anti-AI argument.
No, not at all. It's arguing the risk only exists when we confuse efficiency with authorship. AI can be a fantastic helper, amplifying your thinking, checking grammar. But the human has to remain the author.
So the practical implication is what? Limit AI to just structural help.
That's what a lot of founders are finding useful, yeah. Use it for outlining an article or suggesting a few headings. Maybe refining the tone after you've written the core message yourself.
So optimization, not creation.
That's the distinction. It should organize your thoughts, not generate them for you.
Okay, this is probably the most actionable takeaway for you listening. To ensure you stay authentic, you have to be incredibly specific in your prompting.
You have to guide the AI.
Exactly. Some founders mentioned they create a short manifesto, a little document with their typical phrases, their core beliefs, even moral red lines, and they just paste that context into their prompts.
That's smart.
So instead of just write a newsletter on productivity, you'd prompt something like, write a newsletter on productivity, but remember, my voice is skeptical of hacks. It emphasizes deep work, and it always uses the phrase wrestling with the concept.
Right. You're giving it your guardrails. You're forcing it to build within your confines, not its own generic ones.
And crucially, and this is the non-negotiable part, you have to read and edit what comes back.
Always. You are the final editor.
If it sounds too slick, too clean, or just not like you have a duty to change it. Your name is on the line, not the AI's.
So, where does this all leave us?
Yeah.
We are definitely entering a world where AI will sound more and more like us. The deeper question is whether we will still sound like ourselves.
And that brings us to our final thought. The source material argues that the most valuable thing you bring to your work isn't perfect phrasing. It's your lived experience, your conscience, and your ability to actually care.
Things no model can replicate.
Exactly. So the question to mull over is this: how can you model that unique perspective in your work, even when AI is handling the boring parts, to ensure you don't accidentally hand it the pen entirely?